We're off the east coast of America on the ferry from Cape Cod to Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard is a tiny island which achieved an international fame 5 years ago this summer when Senator Edward Kennedy drove his car off the bridge and into the river at Chappaquiddick. It's a tiny island, the holiday preserve of the rich from New York and from Boston. But this summer is the location for one of America's biggest motion pictures, Jaws. Based on the novel by Peter Benchley, it's the bestseller in England at the moment.
It's the story of how a killer shark marauds and threatens the lives and the livelihood of a small New England beach community. Making a feature film on dry land is a complex enough process. There seem to be at least 3 people for every job. Making a feature film at sea stops just short of a nightmare. It's the second day of American shooting on Jaws. They've already been to Australia for the underwater shots of the shark.
Turn on the walkie-talkie, please, Freddie.
I don't think Freddie can listen.
Freddie! Sendar, I need to talk to you, Fred. Turn on the walkie-talkie. Stand up, we're not shooting.
All the usual panoply of assistant directors with megaphones, continuity girls, sparks and chippies are obliged to float round the action. They are still in the process of learning which side is port and which is starboard.
Guys, we can't shoot right now. Hold on. Have that belt go out and pull the anchor up and reset it off there, okay?
The film stars Roy Scheider of The French Connection and Richard Dreyfuss of American Graffiti.
The director said he faced the head of the studio and he said, "I can't do it in time."
But in the age of director as superstar, the movie will probably be sold on the latest American star behind the camera, Steven Spielberg. Jaws is one of the hottest properties in the film world this year. The book was an instant hit in America, and the film rights were commensurately costly. To shoot for 13 weeks at a budget of over £1 million is something of a rarity these days, so the producers, Richard Zanuck and David Brown, must have a lot of faith in their property, and even more in their director, Mr. Spielberg, who is only 26 years old. In America, he's already provided them with a financial and critical success in Sugarland Express, which he directed. He won the award for Best Screenplay at the recent Cannes Festival. Age never seems to have daunted Mr. Spielberg. At 20, he was directing episodes of Columbo and Hollywood. At 22, he made Duel, the story of a motorist being chased by a lorry, which got rave reviews when it was eventually released here. And now Jaws. It's lunchtime, and the afternoon dialogue is being doctored a little.
No, because he'll be so energetic, and he'll be screaming and yelling, "It's a great white, it's a great white, I knew it all along." And there's only room in there for one quick line, expository line about the mate. The mate
is dead, we'll have to
where's
tow
the
the boat
body?
back.
Why is the boat torn to pieces? Because it's a great white shark. And then all we have to do is cut out.
Where are they feeding?
You know, because I don't know. There have been known attacks. There's a theory called the bumping theory. And it's not a theory anymore, it's a proven fact. That sharks will nudge and bump a boat or an intended victim before they attack. Not so much in a playful manner, but in a way of testing its defenses, to see if it's going to bump back. And when it doesn't, it comes in for the kill. Kosher salami!
Spielberg himself had the idea for Sugarland Express. He found it in a newspaper.
It had to do with the loss of their baby, and it had to do with this media event that, you know, it just sort of sprang up all of a sudden. In Texas, there's a posse theory, and the theory is when a fellow officer is in trouble, everybody jumps into their automobiles, all the fellow officers, and they fall in behind to try to help the guy out. And the posse theory sort of is, you know, the backdrop of Sugarland Express. I was able to, within the budget of my picture, afford 40 police cars, and in real life, 90 police cars were involved in a bumper-to-bumper pursuit that was strung out over about 150 miles. I had seen Goldie in Butterflies Are Free, and there was one scene she had with Eileen Heckert in the car that I felt was, it was really, you know, heart-turning, and I knew that there was a serious actor somewhere underneath that laughing facade. She was anxious to break out of that mold and do something dramatic and do something very serious, and that's why she became a part of the company, and that's why I hired her.
You seem to get very strong performances and naturalistic performances from your actors. What's your technique?
don't know if it's so much of a technique. I asked the actor to, for the most part, to give me too much, so I can then take it down to a level that I feel is believable. I don't like casting actors who are low-key people. I like people with energy. So in the initial casting, I think that half of what a director does is cast his picture well, and the other half is you know, the control of the people within that. But I think half of the secret, when you do see a good picture and you like the people, it's in the casting. I like people who are outspoken and who are very large, so I can bring them down to life level. You know that King Kong dialogue, when they run into the jungle, they're all talking? Yeah. They had like 40 extras, and everybody had 3 things to say. And they also through the picture, they're ad-libbing. Gee, it's big. You see it coming there? Look out, Charlie! Fire now! Throw the grenades! Duck! Everybody had about 3 lines to say, and they all overlapped each other. It was terrific. They haven't made a movie like that since King Kong.
So there's a lot of what the hell's the matter? What's wrong with it? It looks like it's broken.
There's a lot of
that rear cleat's all torn up.
The scene they're taking is one early in the film, where a fisherman has gone out to try and catch the shark, but it's holed his boat and it's sunk and it's killed him. And the 2 men, the sheriff, Brody, and Hooper, the shark expert, come upon his body.
Roll sound.
It's taken pretty well all day to get this shot. Time and tide still refuse to obey the director. One of the actors has to climb from the rescue craft into the half-sunk boat. An easy enough task, you might think.
Whoa! Right. You got it? You got it. Don't roll.
Over half an hour is wasted for dry clothes and new makeup. By then, the light is wrong, and the shot is put off till the following day.
It seemed to me almost fanciful in the book that a shark could actually threaten people on a large boat. But nevertheless, this is the case, is it?
Sharks have... Here's an interesting example. When we were shooting the Australian sequences of the great white sharks, one of the great white sharks jumped into the cage boat and sank the cage boat and sank the cages. The shark grabbed between its jaws, which can close and squeeze at 21 tons per square inch, grabbed and twisted a cage and then sounded with the cage. And when we recovered the cage, it was torn up, completely torn up.
It's not very big. It'll never hold that boat. It'll hold something.
This is my 2nd day at sea, and I have 54 more days to go. And if I survive this, I'll have learned a lot, because right now, all I can tell you is it's twice as slow shooting at sea as it is shooting on land. Because when you set your camera for a shot, invariably the boat, which began here, is over here when you're ready to shoot. With you know, tide and wind, and there are a lot of factors that take into consideration. You really can't hold composition, hold frame. You have to do a lot of pot shotting and shooting loose at open sea.
If you pull the anchor up and reset it.
No, it doesn't come easily. I don't even think about it. If I thought about multi-million-dollar pictures and all the equipment and all the responsibility, I'd probably go bananas.